Welcome to World Car TV. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Patankar in India. The electrics are here and they are here to stay. Yes, that's the message from so many automobile manufacturers these days the world over. Lots of new EV models coming at us, and it's no surprise, it's part of their strategy going forward. We will see more of them. But here's the interesting thing for you today on this show. We're going to show you something that's not in the running for the 2022 awards, may not even be in the running next year. It's a future concept of a very different body style from Volkswagen. This is the ID.Life Concept car, all electric of course, that debuted at the recent Munich Motor Show. An exclusive story for you from our juror in Germany, Thomas Geiger.
This small car was the big star at the Munich Auto Show this autumn, and now we're here in Wolfsburg at the secret test track of Volkswagen and getting a first glimpse on that design show car, and we get the chance to drive. It's still a concept, it will still take 4 years until the car hits the market, but at least it gives us an idea how Volkswagen is expanding its ID model line towards the accessibility, towards the lower segment and towards a price target of 20,000 euros. So if you want to know more about this car, the smart ideas and the way it drives, join me on my test drive here at Thomas Geiger Car. The ID.Life offers an interior that we've never seen at Volkswagen before. So clean, so sleek and so sustainable. Because again, we have lots of sustainable materials, wood, recycled fabrics, no leather at all, and we have a totally reduced operating and maneuvering system. Even the steering wheel is only half the size. There are no conventional buttons anymore, and there are no displays anymore. There is one little indicator in the center of the steering wheel, and all the rest is done with a head-up display. And if I want to, with my smartphone. But Volkswagen has not only thought about what to do while the car is driving, no, it offers also some fun while you're sitting. The seats are very flexible, you can fold them down, you can have them as a bed, or you can have them as a TV seating position, and once you touch the button of your smartphone, you activate a very cool infotainment system. No fancy displays, no expensive speakers, but the first in-car built beamer with a big screen. So Hollywood is coming into your compact car in just 14 seconds. Then the screen comes up, behind that screen there is a beamer, and then you can easily choose whatever you want to see. Do you want to see the last football match? Do you want to have some games played? It's all up to you. And once you're done with all that, you just go back, close the screen, cinema time is over, and we're back to driving. The design of the exterior is a bit overdone, and the interior is either very puristic or very futuristic. Depends on your point of view. But no matter what, it is far away from any serial production. The only thing that is pretty close to the actual car that will come in 4 years is the technology underneath that beautiful and cool looking skin. Because the ID.Life and the upcoming ID.1 or ID.2 will also base on the MEB architecture, just in a stripped down way. That means Volkswagen has for the first time moved the motor from the back to the front to save some weight and some costs for the wiring and the cooling, for example. The motor itself is still pretty strong for such a small car. It has 172 kilowatts, equals to 234 PS, and that's way more than we, for example, know from a Polo GTI. Delivers driving specs that you would not expect from a car of that size. 0 to 100 in less than 7 seconds, for example. And While the ID.3 and the ID.4 is limited to 160 kilometers per hour, Volkswagen is giving this car a go up until 180 kilometers per hour. The power for that drive comes from a battery mounted in the floor, hosting 57 kilowatt hours that delivers a range of about 400 kilometers. That's pretty much for a car of that size, and I would assume to lower the cost they will sacrifice on range to get the car done in a proper way. If you see the ID.Life for the first time, you might be reminded on the Honda E, which is somehow not the best news for Volkswagen, but on the other hand, it's closing the loop, because the Honda E somehow was inspired by the first Volkswagen Golf. But for a Volkswagen itself, it looks really cool and modern and much fresher than the actual ID models. Size-wise, the car is 4 meters and 9 in length, which means it has almost the Polo size. It is a bit raised like a proper SUV, giving you more ground clearance for the bumps of the city, and it has an extended wheelbase, almost 2.70 meters, since all the MEB electric architecture hosts the technology in the flat floor. You have way more room in the front and the back. You can spread the axles, and that gives you more space on the rear seat. Talking about space, the car has a frunk. It's the first ID model with a frunk. Almost 70 liters underneath here. You have more than 400 liters of trunk space, and you have some modularity. Since the car is designed with the idea of sustainability in mind, it hosts a lot of new material. There is no classical coating, and there is this bubble wrap foil that you know from some letters, built from recycled PET bottles. That is used for the front lid, and that is used for the targa top. Just open 2 zippers, fold down the foil, and you're sitting under the bright blue sky. Thanks for joining me on that first drive with the new Volkswagen ID.Life. That will be the ID.1 or the ID.2 when it hits the market in about 4 years. I think this small car really has a great future because it makes electric mobility more accessible, at least for the Volkswagen customers. But on the other hand, with a price target of 20,000 euros, it is definitely not the cheapest car on the market, a role that Volkswagen has left long since. So the real cheap cars will come from China, will come from Eastern Europe, and this car is definitely not a game changer. But this car will keep Volkswagen in the game, at least.
It's not every day you get a chance to test drive a future concept vehicle. So Thomas, part of a very select, exclusive bunch of people who got their hands on the ID.Life. Please do tell us how you like it. You can comment and react on all of our social media channels. You can, of course, leave us a comment right here on this video. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can follow all of our videos and our jurors around the world. We will be back next week with another exciting car for you. Till then, stay safe.